So I am joined by Adam Holz from Plugged In. Hello.
How are you doing, Joe?
I'm good, thank you. And you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yes. Well, we're all good. That's good.
Yes, it is gray and foggy and
Ah.
cold, and it reminds me of what I think England might feel like most of the time. So,
The sun does come out sometimes,
well,
honest.
that's good. That's good.
So what have you got for us in the world of
We have
films, music? You tell me.
lots to talk about today. So,
Cool.
so let's start with a movie called Stitchhead. And that's not a name that really tells you very much at all, really. This is a kids' animation movie. And if you took the traditional Frankenstein story and mashed it up with Pixar's Monsters, Inc., you might have something kind of like Stitchhead. This is, I suppose technically it fits in the horror genre, but it's more of a slapstick comedy. And it involves a group of humans who are afraid of monsters, and those monsters are also afraid of the humans. Everybody thinks the other one is going to hurt them. So it takes place in the little town of Grubbers Nubbin, population 665. And this is a gray, bleak, kind of downtrodden little town that sits in the shadow of a cliff. And on that cliff sits Castle Grotesque, where the monsters
Oh.
live. And there are actually monsters there, so to speak. There's a mad scientist who likes to mix and match the bits of humans and monsters, which sounds much worse than it is. But you know how Frankenstein was sort of stitched together. So we have his creations, but they're all kind of gentle and retiring and not very monstrous apart from their appearance. Well, into that status quo comes a guy named Fulbert Freakfinder who has a circus. And he, as you might guess from the name, is interested in finding oddities to parade around. And it turns out that Fulbert Freakfinder is the real monster here, not the humans or the monsters. And he convinces a little monster named Stitchhead to join his circus. And it becomes apparent very quickly after that that Fulbert is kind of a nefarious character. So, and the humans and the monsters actually learn to trust each other and like each other a little bit.
Mm.
So it is, uh, it's a nice little story. There's
Oh.
not much going on in terms of content. There's some slapstick violence, but nobody ever really gets hurt. I don't think it's the kind of movie that's going to scare anybody too much. So it's a nice little Halloween reflection on not judging a book by its cover, to quote that cliche.
Oh, very clever. I love some of the names. They sound fun. But even the
Yeah,
name of the actual film sounds like it's a bit rude, Stitchhead. Like
I
you
know,
don't want to be called
Stitchhead.
that, do you?
No, it doesn't sound like a nice thing that you would want to be called at all.
No.
So
But it sounds a lot of fun. Absolutely
it is
brilliant.
fun. Yeah, it's a pretty fun movie. I mean, I don't think in a year anybody is probably going to remember it much.
Oh,
You know, it's
okay.
like it's like the ad of all the movies released this year. This is one of them, but at least it doesn't have anything that causes us to issue a massive warning, say parents stay away from this.
Well, that's
So,
nice, isn't it? That makes a nice
yeah.
change, doesn't it?
But I do have one of those next. So,
Okay, go
uh
on then. I'll go. We're ready for it. You did it all nice and soft to start
I
with, and
know.
then you're going to bang us with it, aren't you?
Well, and I am, but for a particular purpose. You know, it's October, which is horror movie season. So there's another animated movie out. This is a Japanese anime movie called Chainsaw Man, the movie Ree's Arc, and Ree's is a character. This is the third anime movie in like 3 months that has topped the US box office, which I think is really interesting. There is an enormous amount of interest here. One of the other huge ones was K-pop Demon Hunter, which came with a soundtrack that, just blew off the top of the charts as well. And there was another movie called Demon Hunter. There's actually a fair bit to talk about here. Let me just say about this movie that it's another iteration on people who are recruited to protect the world from demons. Like all three of these movies share in common a worldview in which humans need to be protected from demons, which is interesting, right? It's not
Mm,
a Christian movie or worldview per se, but I think that we could find some parallels with, Christian teaching about the reality of the spirit world. Now, that said, this is an R-rated movie because it's extraordinarily violent. And one of the reasons I brought it up is because I often will say there is anime out there that has a lot of problems. Those other two movies were both rated PG-13, so they were more accessible. And you don't want to be lulled to sleep with this genre because there is stuff out there that definitely is more problematic. And
mm,
this is in that category. The main character happens to be possessed by a good demon who carries a chainsaw and cuts up bad demons. So
okay.
that is what is going on with this movie. But I mention it again because, you may have younger anime fans out there, and not all anime is cut out of the same cloth.
Mm.
So this is
Yeah.
one to beware of.
Yeah, it makes me think about the Wizard of Oz because there's like a good witch and a bad witch, and I'm thinking,
Right.
but I thought witches weren't good. How can that be? So it does
Right.
confuse you
Exactly.
somewhat, doesn't it?
Exactly. That's exactly right. So,
Oh,
and it plugged in, we want to let you know, hey,
mm,
here's what you can expect to find. And, you could probably discern from a title like Chainsaw Man that this isn't
mm,
necessarily going to be at the top of your kids' movie watching list, but
yeah.
it's still good to just have an awareness of what's out there.
It's kind of concerning that it's gone so popular, isn't it? And it's gone so,
Yeah.
mad that people are sort of hungry for this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, and I think that they're also hungry for something different. And this is my own hypothesis, but I think anime's popularity, I think, is due in part to the fact that a lot of it's really creative and it mingles up a whole bunch of different kinds of genres. We have action adventure, we have romance, we have science fiction, we get some spiritual stuff. So the anime genre in general tends to kind of throw the kitchen sink at you, which
Mm,
means especially when you link, toss the romance stuff in there, there are a lot of younger girls that are anime fans too. This is not just a geeky teenage boy thing. And I think that we're so used to all the stories here that there is something kind of novel about this, that
mm.
that there's an attraction. It's like, oh, this is new, it's fresh, it's different. I haven't seen anything like it before.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I get that. I get that. That makes
there
sense.
you
That
go.
that that helps me
Yeah.
to understand. So, what else have you got for us, Adam? Because
Well,
thank you so much for joining us on Pure 24/7 Radio. It's
oh,
just
you
so
bet.
great to have you and to have these conversations. It's really important,
Yeah.
isn't it?
It
Really
is.
important.
Well, it's hard as parents. I mean, my kids are 15, 17, and 19, and just trying to stay on top of everything they're interested in can feel like a full-time job,
Mm.
right? So we want to be sort of a cheat sheet, if you will. So I'm going to take a step in a different animated direction. And I guess I didn't plan it this way, but it's kind of animation day. There is a new season of a Disney Plus show out called Star Wars Visions. And if you're not familiar with it, there was a comic that was called the same thing as well. They have turned animators around the world loose to sort of play in the Star Wars sandbox. So it's the Star Wars universe, but it's kind of like an alternate Star Wars universe where different creators, with each episode, it's a different director. And so we've got the first couple new seasons out, or new episodes of season 3 out of that. And you'll watch it and think, huh, this feels like Star Wars, but not any version of Star Wars I have ever seen before. So you can find our reviews of the first couple of episodes at pluggedin.com, and read about those. But I think it actually is, again, it's kind of a fresh take on a familiar franchise, and it definitely has an anime kind of vibe to it just visually. Anime is known for characters with really big eyes. That's probably the signature animation feature that if you're
Oh,
watching something, you're like, oh, that's different. That's it may be anime. So there you go.
Ah, there you go. So lots of creativity out there. I mean, that's the
Yes.
thing, isn't it? We
Yep.
may not always like some of the things going, but the creativity is good. It's good to have new stuff, isn't it? I know
Yeah.
people like the old Star Wars, and there'd been plenty of arguments about that, weren't there?
Oh
Like,
boy.
oh, hang on,
I
that's
I
not
have
like it's supposed to
engaged
be.
in most of them.
Oh
So
dear.
yes, no, we could do a whole show on the old man yelling at Star Wars sky, you know?
Oh, that's brilliant. So there's great, lots of animation, like you said, but
Yes.
lots of variety. I think we've got time for maybe one more thing.
Yeah.
Have you got
Well, and
something?
I'll keep it on the animated theme in a
Yeah, okay.
different direction. There is a new video game out for the Nintendo Switch, Switch 2, PlayStation, Xbox, basically all the platforms, PC. And it is called Nicktoons and the Dice of Destiny. And it is based on characters from a whole bunch of Nickelodeon animated shows. So the Fairly Odd Parents, Rugrats, SpongeBob SquarePants, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Disney has done this forever. They'll take all their characters and toss them in a video game together. But here we're getting sort of the same idea from a different franchise and a different collection of characters. And this is an action adventure kind of fantasy role-playing game. It's not Dungeons and Dragons, but it's sort of broadly speaking in that same environment. And with role-playing video games, you'll have moments where you'll interact with characters and a dialogue box will pop up and you'll have to choose, will you do this or will you do this? Um, and so this one is one that I think fans of those shows will enjoy. Part of the fun is when you mingle those different franchises together,
Mm.
what kind of a story do you get? And thankfully, it's just a colorful and fun adventure. And it doesn't have a lot of content really to be concerned with. There's some magic, and we have all manner of traditional and some non-traditional weapons. We have swords, but we also have spatulas. If you've ever wanted to have a fantasy adventure with a spatula as your primary weapon, now there's a game for you. So Nicktoons and the Dice of Destiny.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you for that description because I'm not very good with games. I mean, I don't know if you remember the Game and Watch things that you get, the little square ones
Yeah.
from we had them.
Yep.
My dad traveled a lot and went to America and bought these back, and it was manhole. And I've just got two thumbs and I just press them
Uh-huh.
and I've got to get the bridge under the man. I can handle that. But
Yeah.
anything beyond that, I'm really like, oh no, this is too fast. It's no, what's happening? So it's
Well,
really
the good,
helpful when you describe these things. And I like the idea of a spatula.
yeah, I mean,
You've
I
got me
think
hooked on that.
going to battle with a spatula, that just feels like a lot of fun. I didn't
Yes.
know that my heart was longing for it, but it is. And the great thing about video games today, because if you'd have told me this when I was a kid, my eyes would have gotten big and never come back to normal size. If you'd have told me that every video game I ever played, somebody probably has an app and I can probably download it for free on my phone, it would have blown my little 14-year-old mind, right? But it's
Oh,
true. Most of them
brilliant.
are out there. So
Oh,
you
fantastic.
could probably go back and find that game and play it on your phone.
Yeah, well, I've still got it. It still works. It sits on
Oh,
my
it still
desk. It's
works.
still
Okay.
working. But the only
That's
problem is
great.
like the modern game now, you can pause, can't you? But those games you can't. So you've got
No,
to keep playing it
you've got
until
to
it does.
keep
Unless
playing.
and if you don't want to, end the game, you've just got to keep going. So yeah,
Yep.
I love the modern game now. There's so much, isn't there? So much
So
so
much.
much creativity. It's absolutely
Maybe
fantastic.
too
Well,
much, but
yeah,
that's a
maybe,
different
maybe.
conversation, right?
Well, thank you so much, Adam. Really
You
pleased that you
bet.
could join. How can we get hold of if we really want to find out
Yeah.
about games, books, music, whatever? Where
Yep.
do we need to go?
Just come to pluggedin.com, and we are a ministry of Focus on the Family, and we want to help you navigate, from big to little, movies, music, TV, video games, books, YouTube channels, technology, really giving you the information you need as a family to make the best decisions, and hopefully to think about your engagement with screens and entertainment from a discipleship perspective
Mm.
too. So that's our hope at pluggedin.com, and we are a ministry of Focus on the Family.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all that you do, Adam. And
You
we'll
bet.
catch you next time.
See you next week.
See you then.
Thanks, Joe.